We all have that one band member, the bass player that never gives feedback but suddenly quits, the singer that sees every point of improvement as an attack. Why do we act this way with people that we make music with? I will tell you about the 3 techniques of survival that can break a band. You can communicate all you want, but they respond with twisting the topic, telling you what they are doing right instead of attending to the problem. They blame you for something else, they blame you for your response. Everything looks like they feel attacked and you feel like walking on eggshells. This is because of something that we call coping strategies. These are learned behaviors to help us at a young age to deal with the situation we were in at that time. But since it's behavior, we can change it. I'll give you a quick rundown and what we will discuss in this video. We will talk about where these coping styles come from, which main types there are, and we break down these types one by one so you can reflect on yourself, your band, and the interaction. Like I have mentioned earlier, these coping strategies stem from when we were little. They are created from our life experiences, environmental influences, and also genetics. For example, people with high testosterone and low serotonin can come across as aggressive, or maybe even manipulative or cold, acting like they don't care what you think. Or if you were met in your physical needs as a child, with food and a roof over your head, being able to go to school, but your parents never really gave you affection or praise when you did something right. You can develop people-pleasing tendencies to get attention or avoid any form of connection at all. So these experiences lead to how you behave in a band. Pause the video and think about it. Do you have experiences from the past that are dictating how you function within the band? These experiences from childhood can lead to 3 types of coping strategies. They are all normal responses to sometimes abnormal circumstances. And we all use them. But sometimes it's just too intense and then it can lead to problems. We all know the surrender, overcompensation and avoidance types. And they are similar to the freeze, fawn, fight and flight modes. The surrender state is the person who always says yes. He doesn't give an opinion of their own and doesn't give any musical input, just to keep the peace. Overcompensation is for the control freak. They have to decide everything and they don't like feedback and they try to outvoice others to hide their insecurity. Avoidance is like a ghost. They don't show up when things get tough, make a joke out of everything, or emotionally blocks conversations and directly starts playing or tuning their guitar. Pause the video for a sec. Which type do you think you have? We will now dive into these types more deeply. Like I said earlier, the surrender state is the person who always says yes. They don't give their opinion and they don't give any musical input, just to keep the peace. Sometimes when you confront the surrender type, they can sound a bit like a victim. I am like this and I cannot change. Take a moment to think about your band. Is there someone who is stuck in the surrender mode? The reason why people go into surrender mode is because they learned at a young age that this was the safest way to deal with the situation at that time. People pleasers are born in environments where being overly nice was the way to go. If this situation takes long, it can develop into a standard go-to coping technique. This can be with an explosive parent or with a parent who was very demanding. Like when you were not allowed to be just good enough, grades at school had to be perfect. In the beginning, I told you about the control freak. They have to decide everything, they don't like feedback, and they try to outvoice others to hide their insecurity. Sometimes, when you confront someone that overcompensates, they can sound like grandiose, or like you are talking to a brick wall. I would never do that, I think you misinterpreted this. It's like your words cannot affect them or they know better somehow. Take a moment to think about your band. Is there someone who is stuck in the overcompensation mode? The reason why people go into overcompensation mode is to keep their insecurity a secret. They want to push those feelings away and stay unharmed or untouchable. Overcompensation can stem from demanding parents. Things were never good enough, so overcompensation is needed to get the best result. These people work their ass off. Everything has to be perfect, so this can be the one in the band that cannot release a song until it's perfect. and he keeps on working on something that is already done for release. It's an endless process. Sometimes overcompensation can rise as a way to deal with negative or critical parent. Some people get insecure and hide themselves. Others go into the opposite direction. They get this grandiose mask where they tell everyone how amazing they are, but sometimes they are in fact just regular. In the beginning, we discussed the avoidant as the ghost. They don't show up when things get tough, make a joke out of everything, or they block emotional conversations and directly start playing or tuning their guitar. When you try to confront an avoidant person, they can deflect, tune out, say yes and do no, and shift the blame if there's any blame or fault to begin with. Pause the video and think about who in your band is avoiding. Maybe you are. The reason for people to go and avoid is because they cannot handle their own emotions and certainly not the emotions of other people. They get overwhelmed. If it's emotions of insecurity or not being good enough, they can self-soothe by doom scrolling on their phone, drinking alcohol, or just not partake in any activity at all to avoid the possibility of those feelings in the first place. For example, not wanting to do live performances. What if someone makes a mistake? So, which one are you? Are you the people-pleasing puppy? The perfectionist? The doom scroller? How about your band members? How does this interaction work for you? What happened in the last conflict or feedback moment? Now you know more about the 3 main coping styles and which one you use most. In the next video, we will talk about how to solve the conflicts in the band that stem from these coping strategies. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share and subscribe and comment to keep the page alive.